Hello and welcome to yet another episode of It's Your Show. We are here with our series Unfold, where every voice is a layer and every layer a revelation. Today in our studio, we have a guest who is leading change at global level. He is leading projects like Hunger Free Canada, and he's the founder of Feed Scarborough. And he also is the founder of Zero Hunger Project. So in our studio, we have Suman Roy with us. Thank you so much, Suman, for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
And your time. I think we are dealing with a subject that is burning, that is global, but at the same time looked at as a third world problem, right? So yes, so that is something I wanted to address here and let our viewers also know that how hunger is a global issue still. So I think we couldn't have thought of somebody better than you. Suman here also has played a very important role in drafting the first ever food strategy for the city of Toronto. He also is a recipient of King Charles III Coronation Medal and the title of the CEO of the Year for non-government organizations. Congratulations, Suman.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's start by answering something very basic. Why food security? Like, why did you see the need to work in that field?
Absolutely. So I immigrated here almost 24 years ago, and literally with $42 in my pocket, 2 suitcases full of clothes and nothing more. Okay. Like many young folks, I didn't even have place to rent. So I stayed on the side of the street for the first few weeks till we got our act together. When I came here, Canada was supposed to be grass is greener on the other side.
Developed nation,
exactly,
as they call it, right?
And when you come here and you see people on the side of the streets, and now it's gone up a lot more than what it was 24 years ago.
So true.
But it still was, and people were still hungry, and I was a part of that. Mm-hmm. And then I got myself out of it and built a life for myself. But it always stuck with me that why is it that a developed country like Canada, and we still have the same problem? That it's a little different. Mm-hmm. The causes are different. The solutions are different than what's back home.
Is the severity also different?
It's interesting you ask that. It is certainly different, but based on what it should be, it is a whole different ballgame. And we can talk about that, some data and some points.
Absolutely.
But what it was is that it stayed with me. Mm-hmm. And I was a chef by trade. Mm-hmm. So I worked in the kitchens where I was there making food for the elite and charging tons of money for that food. But I knew that there are people across the street who could not just afford a regular piece of bread or a piece of egg or whatever that might be. So it always stayed with me. So I used to do on the side of my desk any volunteer work that I could. But I'm also a strong believer that just handing out food at a food bank or in a shelter is not going to solve this problem.
Absolutely.
It is a band-aid we are putting. In 1980s, Canada started food banks as a temporary solution. And now you turn on the TV and every channel is talking about, look at the line, look at how many people are coming there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And 50 years later, we're going to have the same problem if we don't get to the root cause.
So true.
And I think that is where my interest was always, is policy and the root causes. And I've always worked on that as a volunteer more than showing up at a food bank and handing out food. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that is the trajectory that we took. And unfortunately, COVID pushed us in a direction where we had to make this a regular thing. Okay. And that's my interest.
Now that you say about changes at policy level, so would you mind highlighting a few of those that you have seen in your, line of experience, or something that has really made a change and it's tangible?
So I'll tell you from Canada's perspective. So just anyone who doesn't know, today in Canada, 10 million Canadians do not have enough food to eat. That's 1 in 4. And out of that, 2.6 million are children below the age of 12.
Wow. That's some almost horrifying data.
It is.
Yes.
And that same number changes to 18 million when you're looking down south to the United States. 18 million Americans today do not have enough food to eat. And we are the developed nation. We have the richest nation in the world.
Absolutely.
something is wrong there.
Yes.
And I think that is the kind of conversation that needs to happen. While, let's talk about Costa Rica, a small country in Central America. They are very recently, I just heard when I was in the UN last week, that now they are called not a developed nation, but a high income nation.
Okay. Okay.
That small country, and I was sitting with their lead person from the UN, and I was having a conversation, and I said, what is your secret? How did you get to that stage? And his answer was eye-opening to me. He said, in 70s and 80s, we were in a really bad shape. What our leaders decided to do is to get rid of our complete defense mechanism. We have zero defense budget. But we take that money and put into people and invest in people to make people more resilient.
More enable
Exactly.
themselves, right? Yeah, absolutely.
So imagine a country with zero defense dollars. So I said, aren't you afraid? And they said, no, because we are a peace-loving nation. And if anything happens, we're going to look towards countries like UK, Canada, and US to save us because we are not going to fight with anybody.
Exactly. Coming to that, now, not every country can do that.
No.
That's not a solution for all the
100%.
countries, right? So
here's
others
another
are
one.
looking up to Canada probably when they need, but Canada has to be self-sufficient when it comes to
100%. But
defense.
look at
So
Brazil.
what's the solution for us?
So look at Brazil. Brazil, the current president, when he was first selected in 1990s, he came up with a project called the Zero Hunger. I think FOAM something he called it in his language. And what they focused on is building resiliency in the community. Now, those who work in the food security industry, they know that there is very few countries like Brazil who is not a rich nation, who is not a high-income nation, but their food insecurity level is quite low. Because they have focused not only just getting food to people, so they had two focus. One is agriculture, and the other was empowering communities to have better income.
Okay.
But coming back to Canada, we were very excited that last year, for the first time, Canada had a kids food policy, the school food program.
Yes.
We were the last G7 countries to do that.
Okay.
Though it is not ideal because we need a lot more investment into that, but it's a fantastic start.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And programs like that is what is needed to actually get people out of poverty. And those are the policy that we are talking about. We need policies around how to empower communities. And our current government of Ontario in this budget, we saw focusing on businesses, on employment. So those are the kind of policies and investment we need from the government to combat food insecurity in Canada.
And now, because again, I have very recently, developed interest in this area and worked in my own capacity in a very, very small level. And while doing that, on my own research, I have learned something that food insecurity does not exist because there is a lack of food or production. There's enough in the world, produced in the world to feed everybody in the world.
Yes.
So where is the problem? Is it the logistics? Is it the right taking it from the right place and giving it to the right people? Like, where do you see
I think it is different anywhere and everywhere you're talking about. Talking about Canada, let's talk about Canada for a few minutes.
Absolutely.
As I said, 1 in 4 Canadians do not have enough food to eat. However, 46% of our food goes to landfill. Something doesn't add up here.
Absolutely.
So we are wasting food, but we are not feeding our people.
So we have a solution and the problem, but they're not speaking to each other, right?
Exactly. But let me ask you, or ask any of your audience, do you know today, if all our borders close, how many days of food do we have in this country?
I have no idea about the number. So
it averages to 3 days only.
Wow.
So with anything in our country. So with everything that, and it's little higher in the summer, little lower in the winter.
Okay.
But this is an average.
Give and take, a ballpark,
This is an average.
Yeah.
So with everything that's happening geopolitically, if our borders close down, 3 days worth of food, out of that, some folks might have 10 who are rich and can afford, and some will have probably not even the next meal.
Yep.
But that is the reality where we are living. So, and when going back to your policy question as well, we need to build capacity, not only in farms. We have the capacity. We have
produce.
we can produce. We have the land. There's no shortage of land. But we need political will to actually go out and take steps. And look at our north, where you spend $26 or $28 for a jug of orange juice. You know we have a problem.
Yes. Okay. So I hear that. Now coming back to the first ever food strategy that you developed for the city of Toronto. When we say that something like that was developed, what does it mean to a everyday person?
So for an everyday person, probably they don't even see or understand
the impact of it.
That what does a food strategy does for a city of Toronto. But a lot of the programs that you see coming out of the city is based on the food strategy.
Okay.
So for example, in this I'm going back a few years, the street food program that came out in the city of Toronto, that came out of the food strategy.
Okay.
Because we saw some amazing programs that happened in New York, and it was incorporated. I don't know if anybody in the TTC subway stations, there was a program where we were selling fresh fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
And not all subway stations, but many of them. That program came out of the food strategy.
Okay.
The poverty reduction strategy came from the food strategy at some point.
So this also is one of the policy level changes, very tangible
100%.
then I would say. Okay. Now I read somewhere when I was reading about all the work that you are doing that, you are also a representative at the UN for Canada.
Yes.
So what is the type of message as a Canadian representative or as Canada as a nation that's carrying to the table at the UN?
So I am the official delegate, Canadian delegate to the UN on the high-level political forum on the Sustainable Development Goals. And what it is Canada, of course, under Prime Minister Trudeau and now under Prime Minister Carney, we are very committed to the high-level political forum. Our ambassador to the UN, Ambassador Bob Ray, he was the president last year who led the Sustainable Development Goals. So Canada is very much on board with the Sustainable Development Goals. We don't speak, when we are there, we don't speak on behalf of Canada.
Okay.
If we do, then we need our speeches and all approved.
Okay.
But we speak as Canadian NGOs, delegates who has the voice to be our own.
Okay.
But overall, what we are is we actually work on the Sustainable Development Goals. We champion them in some shape or form. We learn when we go there what other countries are doing. We are sharing. And Canada overall is certainly a champion. We just want to see more investment going in and more tangible work being done and localizing the Sustainable Development Goals.
Okay, that's great. So we are able to bring back the learnings that happens at the table there at the UN
100%.
and implement here in
100%.
Canada.
And I think localizing is a big part because I can almost guarantee you that at least 90% of your clientele who are listening to us has no idea what Sustainable Development Goals are.
True.
And that is across the world.
Yes.
It's not only Canada. Let's be real. Because we haven't done a good job localizing that conversation. And some might say it's not needed as long as the work is being done. I personally say that no, it is needed because the community needs to understand what these are, because this is what is going to make a better world tomorrow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Suman. At this, we'll take a short break, and while we are talking of hunger-free Canada, it really aches my heart to think that in today's world where countries are planning probably an alternate life in Mars and Moon, there are families going to the bed not knowing what they will serve their family the next morning. And as a mother, as a parent, and as a citizen of this community, it really aches my heart. And then I really feel there's so much that we all together can do from right where we are. We'll get back to you again after a short break. Thank you for being with us.
अगर आपको दुबई या मिडिल ईस्ट नुमा ज़ेवरात की तलाश है, तो आपको दूर जाने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं। आज ही हमारे मिसिसागा रिजवे स्टोर तशरीफ लाइए। अल करम ज्वेलर्स। हमारे पास सोने के बेहतरीन कंगन, कड़े, झुमके, हार और सोने के सेट्स भी दस्तयाब हैं। शादी हो या मेहंदी या कोई भी फंक्शन, आपकी पसंद के तमाम ज़ेवरात आपको हमारे स्टोर में मौजूद मिलेंगे। आज ही हमारे स्टोर पर तशरीफ लाइए। अल करम ज्वेलर्स, 3465 प्लैटिनम ड्राइव, यूनिट 99, मिसिसागा, या फिर कॉल करें 905-828-0009। अल करम ज्वेलर्स, फरमाइश आपकी, गारंटी हमारी।
before we went for the break, we were in conversation with Suman Roy, and we were talking about a burning problem that doesn't seem so big when we don't think of it, but has a global impact, and that is hunger. So we'll continue the conversation with Suman. And my next question, I would like to understand, Suman, like when we talk about the issues around us, for somebody who's watching and who really thinks they want to help, what is the best way? Like, what can I even do? Somebody can feel, oh, there's a problem, I see it, but at my level, what can I even do? So do you have something like simple, something that somebody can just get up and start doing or help in some way?
I have a big list. Where do we start? No, I'm just kidding. So there's a lot of things that our communities can do. The simplest thing is if you're able to make donation to your local charity who's working on this. That's the simplest thing. The next thing, which is a little harder, is if you have some time, go and volunteer. And it always doesn't have to be in a food bank, and you can probably volunteer from home for some organizations, help their marketing, help their promoting. That's tougher. Something that really simple that you can do at any given time, because most of your audience is on social media, enhance their voice. Look at what community, what organizations are doing a good job, and maybe like or share
give a shout out.
and give a shout out. That's a really simple thing, but it goes a long way for us.
Absolutely.
But what is most effective, and I'm going to say this because we don't think about it, every time when you have an election, may it be municipal, provincial, or federal, doesn't matter which color, who comes to your door, politicians are coming and asking for your vote.
Absolutely.
Ask them the right questions. Tell them that it is a concern that probably your next door neighbor that you don't know is going to bed hungry. Why in a country like this? So ask those questions. Why is it the indigenous people in our country still do not have clean drinking water? So these are what actually makes a big difference when these folks get elected.
Okay. So in your experience, just to give a perspective to how grave the problem is, what would you call one of the hardest days that you have seen in terms of, the issue that you're working around?
Yeah, like one of the hardest days, and unfortunately in our world, these days are way too often. When I was driving here to the studio, somebody sent me a message saying, I've got 2 kids, my youngest is 1 year old, and I really have nothing to feed him. Is there anything that you can do to help? Otherwise tonight my 1 year old will not have food to eat. Now, I have a 9 year old myself, and I can imagine when she was 1 and if I didn't have anything, what would happen? Mm-hmm. And it chokes me, and right after I finish, I'm going to go get something, at least a gift card or something, and go and drop it off her house. But these kind of things that come, it comes every day, some shape, form or the other. It is hard. And but when you are able to make that little difference, you change somebody's life. We have a project on Yonge Street called the Food Hall TO. It's a food court open to public where we get newcomers to start their own food business, and we train them. Okay. It's a great program. We started last year in 2024, January. The first cohort we had, each and every one in our 5 kiosks, they were all refugees. They were all living in shelters. And from there, they were our food bank clients. They used to volunteer. And then when we started this program, they came and joined us. And by the end of the cohort, the program, they all have decent jobs. Mm-hmm. They all have places to live. And now they're sending money back home to their family so they can survive back home.
That's amazing. That's such a beautiful story.
That's it. And those are the impacts, are the good days when you come out of that and said, okay, we made a difference.
Absolutely. Now coming back to your Zero Hunger project, is there something that sounds great to me? I wish we soon come to days of Zero Hunger, but could you let our viewers know something about that project? And is there any way people who are interested can get associated or involved in whatever capacity?
100%. So I'll give you a quick on what Zero Hunger Project is. It is a platform that is connecting grassroots organizations globally and building capacity. And what we do is, for example, our organization, we have very successfully so far in last 5 years managed to work on the emergency food program like the food banks and handing out hot meals, to long-term impact programs, supporting our community with business incubation, career development, and more research and policy development. So we are helping the grassroots organizations in having those conversations. So nobody is reinventing the wheel over and over.
So
we are
important.
connecting grassroots from one country to another, sharing programs so they can learn from each other, and also helping them from policies within their country so they can advocate for a better life in their country. So how can people get involved? There are multiple ways. Of course, the easiest, as I said, donate. If you're not able to, that's fine. If you're able to help us on social media or help us in marketing, volunteer your time to do any of the work, the soft work that you can do from home, great. Most of your audience have friends and families around the world. So reach out to them. What nonprofits or what NGOs or grassroots organizations in those countries who might benefit from them? Share our link with them so they can sign up. It's a free program.
So
we are here to help them.
would you want to share with our viewers if there is any direct social media or any website they can go into and get more
Absolutely.
information? Because I think the issue is so huge that 30 minutes in no ideal world would be
No.
enough for us to discuss. So do you want to let our viewers know any link or social media handle?
Absolutely. So if you go to foodsecurityinitiative.ca, we'll give all our 3 levels, the local, national, and the global websites. Our local has a separate website also called feedscarborough.ca. Our global is zerohungerproject.com. So you can go to both of this. If you go on any social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, or X, sorry, all of them have Feed Scarborough and Zero Hunger Project handles.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, because you mentioned Feed Scarborough, like I think this was your initial, your baby, your project, right? So has this Feed Scarborough grown more? Is there any, at the rate Feed, any other city that you have gone, or is anything in the pipeline?
So not for us. So we localized. We start in a local way, and then we expanded as national with the Hunger Free Canada, Canada Sans Farm,
and global.
And then Zero Hunger Project. So we did this way.
Amazing.
But there are other organizations like Feed Ottawa, for example. A wonderful lady, Sadaf, she runs Feed Ottawa, does a great job. And we partner and we help each other. We give them the learning and the training that we can for Feed Ottawa to grow. So like that, we also support more hands-on training within Canada. But globally, we are not able to do the hands-on. That's when we do the connection.
Collaborations, yeah, that's amazing. Just having conversation with Suman and trying to rekindle a few thoughts within myself, I think being able to make a difference is not as difficult as we think. We don't have to wait for some day when we are, at some level. I think starting right where we are is also good enough. Maybe, just giving away one dinner outside, or probably one birthday celebration of your kid or yourself, or one birthday gift, and then donating it to your nearest food bank will also make a lot of difference, and you will definitely ensure one or more family goes back to bed well fed. So having said that,
I even say one coffee a week.
Absolutely, right? So there are a lot of food banks, even locally, that are doing such amazing jobs.
100%.
I myself have volunteered in a few, like Night's Table in Brampton. There's Saidham in Etobicoke, which is doing an amazing job,
100%.
and so that's so great to see those initiatives. But again, like we discussed earlier, taking food from the food bank and handing over probably is the solution to the burning problem right now, but not sustainable, right? So a lot of times I also see, again, pardon my ignorance if you see any of it in my question, but we see there's a lot of food wastage that happens in restaurants, in even stores that provide maybe bakeries, or stores like without naming them, a few grocery stores which provide food, because after a certain time, as per the food security, you cannot serve it. So but it is not expired. So is there a way, or it's already happening that I don't know of, where we are able to make these things locally available? Like how we have Uber for your, your Uber of your, food security
100%.
probably. Because what is Uber? I need a taxi. I call it, and something that's the closest to me comes and it solves my problem. So, connecting somebody who's hungry here in this postal code, and then a excess food.
Yep.
So, are there programs like this
Yes.
that are happening, or is it possible?
Yeah, so there are programs like that. There are programs where there are apps where people would go, and especially restaurants and all, just before closing, they'll lower the price and people can go in and buy and then go pick it up. So there are some programs like that. But there is one program with an organization called Second Harvest.
Okay.
So what they do is they don't do direct to consumer, but if any grocery store is going to have food that they're going to go waste, so they're going to put it on the app, and a notification comes to all the nonprofits, and then we just claim it and then we go pick it up.
That's
so
amazing.
Programs are like that, but it's not enough.
Yes, because this sounds to me not just as a solution of one problem of hunger, but also solution of food, solving food
and
wastage.
Environment.
Yes,
how
absolutely.
much methane gas is caused with the food that is in landfill? It's a lot. But one thing, just to go back to your policy question as well, a couple of years ago, France came up with this fantastic policy that it's illegal for grocery stores to throw away food. They have to donate to a charity.
Sounds beautiful to me.
It's amazing.
Yes, amazing.
I think it needs a little more improvement because it lacked a little bit of teeth. But something like that in Canada is certainly something that is needed. And we have a grocery code of conduct, but it certainly is not enough, or it's not strong enough. And things like this needs to get in there, that they have to.
A lot of times I feel, I don't know again how appropriate of a question it is, but sometimes, when there are regulations and there's not much awareness about the clarity of it, people are more scared to do some help than they feel. If I give this food, if there is a regulation which stops me from doing it, I'd rather let it go to the garbage. Nobody is going to question me. But that is such a sad state of affair, because regulations are there probably to make situations more clear and more regularized than to scare people. So where is that gap? Like how?
It's communication. So I don't know how many of your viewers know that if you give, there is a law in Ontario called the Good Samaritan Law. If you give food, donate, and somebody, hopefully nobody will, but somebody falls sick, they cannot sue you.
Okay.
Because you donated. Now, if you charge even a penny, they can.
Yeah, okay.
But it's free. You're giving it for free. People cannot sue you. It's under the Good Samaritan Law.
Okay.
How many people know this?
I'm sure not many. Yes.
And these are the awareness and the communication that is not out there loud and clear, which should be.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, if I am picking up a donated food, the onus is on me to make sure the food is good. Like, I have smell, I have eyes, I have nose. I can taste and say, oh, should I eat it or should I throw it?
Yes.
Dates are, and one thing also, most of your audience probably don't know,
Best before
that there
dates.
is only best before. You stole it from my mouth.
This is something I read during my research again for the same thing, and that's something that hit me so hard. And I was like, that was such an eye-opener. We all look at the date and we think it's expiring, but
in Canada, only 5 things expire.
okay,
And they are 2 of them are prescription only, so not your concern. And out of the 3, most of them are supplements. One is baby formula, one is dietary supplements, and the other is some granola bars that has got supplements. Other than this, nothing else expires. Those are all best before date.
Amazing.
So you smell, you taste, you see if it is bad, throw it away. And how many times have you opened milk even before the best before date and it's still rancid?
True.
It happens.
Yes.
So it has got nothing to do with that date. It's a marketing gimmick, as simple as that.
Yes.
So I think that is something that more awareness needs to happen.
I think we need to have more conversations around this, and I'm
100%.
glad that we start this conversation today at our show and in this studio. I think we need to have more of these conversations, and I think having those awareness among people really will, like how we discussed in the initial part of our show, enable the community, right? So, and
100%.
if we are enabled enough, I think we don't need to look out for help outside. We know we are capable and enabled enough to help each other.
And it
So,
even
yeah.
saves you money
Yes.
if
So
you don't
true.
throw away that food.
So, thank you so much, Suman. Having said that, we are at the end of the show, and I think this was a very good opportunity. Like I said, 30 minutes is not enough time for us to address this, but it's, I think, good enough time for us to start those conversations.
Absolutely.
And understand where the problem is, how big the problem is, and how we can be a part of the solution in whatever small way we can. So we had in our studio today Suman Roy, who has been relentlessly working in the field of Hunger-Free Canada and food security, also leading global projects like Zero Hunger projects. And a few conversations that we had today, we would love to take it outside of this studio, and any of our viewers want to get associated with this, want to work on this and collaborate or contribute any which way, please reach out to us. And thank you for being with us on this show. And this was Unfold, where every guest has a voice and every viewer finds theirs. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.